I want to thank everybody for coming. I'm a small part of this function. Actually, the man behind the brains behind this operation is Mike Poland, who's in the back. I want to thank Mike, and I want to thank the football officials that are here tonight, along with a bunch of other people. Before I introduce our Master of Ceremonies, we have three sponsors that really stick with us year in and year out. The Maxwell Football Club, Executive Auto Body with Bill Pallo, and the Phillies, and all the football officials. And all I want to say is thank you. All of the money we raise goes towards scholarships. We're going to diversify a little bit in the next couple of years. We're going to start doing all sports instead of just football. It was brought to my attention we ought to do more for the women, so we're going to go down that road. We just put 3 on the board, so figure that out. In the back is raffle and auction items. All that money goes to scholarships. All right, I want to introduce our MC tonight. I'm going to get out of here. Don't need the lights, don't like the lights. Him and I have been friends for a lot of years, way back to when Dick Vermeil came here from the UCLA, and we've been friends for a long time. He's a member of this Hall of Fame, along with his wife, Janet. He's a former Eagle. Mr. Invincible, Vince Papalski.
Oh, woo-hoo, yeah, thanks. Hey, everybody, how are you? You ready for a good night? This is going to be a phenomenal evening, so thank you very much for coming out. And I guess this is a night where we're going to reward a lot of people who had that ultimate dream come true. And that's what it's about. Before we go through anything, and I know we have an invocation, I need to know, did anybody see the movie Invincible? Oh, yeah, good. Did anybody like it? Yeah. Did anybody cry? Yeah. I cry every time I see that movie. I get no residuals. It brings me to my knees. So, 0. We're going to, and I'm so honored to be up here in the dais, to be part of this dais, to be the Master of Ceremonies tonight. And thank you very much, Milton Halstead and the committee. It's going to be a phenomenal night. As I said, the movie Invincible is all about dreams, and that's what we have up here. Men and women that had dreams come true, and it's just phenomenal. Wait till you hear their stories, and can't wait to hear them and their remarks after they receive the awards. But before we do that, we would like to have an invocation, and we're sort of going to keep it in the house within the Hawk Nation. Any Hawks out there? We have a few, I think. And this is my Hawk brother, and from St. Joe's Prep. I'd like to have Jim Murray come up for our invocation, please.
Thank you, Vince. Blessed are you, Lord, God of all creation, for it is through your goodness that we are gathered here this evening to honor and perpetuate the memory of the men and women who have brought lasting fame to the state of Pennsylvania through their athletic achievements. We are grateful for the blessings you have bestowed on us, athletes, coaches, officials, and administrators. We ask you to bless those who are hungry and those who are homeless. And we ask you, God, to bless what we are about to eat and what we are about to do tonight, tomorrow, and always. Amen. Amen.
All right, if you could, I would ask if everyone could please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I don't know who your hero is. I have a lot of heroes in my life, my school teachers, my parents, teammates, people I've been involved with, those men and women up here receiving awards. But I'll tell you who the real heroes in my life are, and other soldiers out there protecting this dream that we have. And we're going to do the Pledge of Allegiance right now, and please, if we could just do it loud and strong and proud for the United States of America. So if you would, please, I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much. Thank you. You want to all be seated? All right, one more thing before we all sort of dive into the food and have a bon appetit. I'd like to introduce to you, if I could, our dais up on the front. So if you would, please all focus your attention up to the front here, and it would be to my right, your left. And we are going to start with one of our first honoree, and that's Peter Cipollone. Peter, congratulations. And next up, Mike DeMuzio. Mike. And we have John Gallagher. Next up, Bill Hunter. All right. Lance Johnstone. And Mo Maureen Kramer. And now next to me on my left, your right, Bobby Lewis. And next to him is Joey Magallanes. Next up, Frank McPhillan. And please say hi to Mike McLaughlin. And Robert Rosania. And here, accepting on behalf of his father, Joseph McCluskey, we have Chowie McCluskey. Chowie. Thank you, everybody. Enjoy dinner. We'll be back very shortly. Thank you. What a great honor to be up here tonight with this tremendous dais. And as I had mentioned earlier, it's for many here the culmination of a dream. Imagine the thrill of being inducted into a Hall of Fame, and especially the City All-Star chapter for the state of Pennsylvania. Nothing gets better. I've had that honor. Are there any recipients in the audience that have received this award that we could please, if you would stand and applaud? Any recipients there? If not, there we are, right over here. There we go, we're back. There we are. And I started this whole thing off with this dream thing and this little invincible thing, and you know, I'm obviously it's pretty wild when somebody like Walt Disney comes up and says, hey, you know, we're going to make a movie about you, and people say, well, what's it like? And I can't even put it in words. I mean, it's just totally sick when you think about it. You know, they ask how true it is. Well, you know, I mean, it is Hollywood, but it pretty much captured it. But what it captured is a journey in the spirit, not only of an individual, but a journey in the spirit of Philadelphia. And it really captured Philadelphia in such a beautiful way. And when I'm looking out and I'm reading the bios of many of the award winners here, and people I've run into, and I've run into so many coaches, I think about the impact that a lot of coaches have made on us and our teachers. I did a presentation this morning at a couple of schools, you know, and did some assemblies and talked to the kids about how important it is with your school teachers and your coaches. And I was thinking, you know, in 76 when I had this goofy dream that I was going to do something that I didn't think was anything special. All I wanted to do was play for the team. I was a season ticket holder for 10 years. And everybody thought I was crazy. You know, you can't do it. You're not old. You're too old. You didn't play college football. And everybody's throwing stuff in your face. And I'll never forget the coach, my high school coach, George Corner from Middleborough High School, and he eventually went to Radnor. And he came up to me and he gave me this quote. And the quote went like this. It says, "Happy are those who dream dreams and are willing to pay the price to make their dreams come true." I mean, how cool is that? Pay the price. And you know, when you tie that into a great saying of Dick Vermeil's, when he said, "Nobody ever drowned in sweat." You know, I mean, how sadistic is that? But that's the way it was. And our honorees up here did drown a little bit in sweat. Some were, you know, especially Peter was a rower. He probably almost drowned a couple of times. But, you know, and they paid the price. And here we are, and we're going to honor them tonight. And I'm so proud to be able to have that honor to introduce them to you. So let's start right now with Peter Cipollone. And Peter is an Olympic gold medalist, coxswain on the U.S. Olympic rowing team in 2004, graduated of St. Joe's Prep High School, Cal Berkeley, has many national titles. Peter Cipollone!
Thank you so much. You're the best, man. Okay, guys, look at me. Don't never see your hand. That's perfect. Look at me, guys. Remember three, real fast. Here we go. One, two.
Good. Thanks, Peter.
Oh, jeez. Hey, now. All right.
You can do whatever you want.
All right.
Want me to hold it for you?
Good. I might need a chair. Can y'all see me? All right. Oh, come on. I can't tell you how excited I am to be here tonight for a variety of reasons. First of all, like nobody really knows what a coxswain does, but like if you're in Philly, you have a better chance of actually someone knowing what coxswains do. I spent my whole athletic career yelling at people, sitting still, and watching other people sweat. And so, to start off, I want to recognize many of my teammates who are here tonight, all the way from the first crew that I ever rowed in, through to the very last crew that I ever rowed in, which was the Olympic champion, world record setting 2004 Olympic 8. I want to thank you. I want to give a quick shout out over to Table 8, but I want to point out a lot of good friends at Table 8. But at Table 2, some people who I just met in the bar before we got started actually sent me a beer. Table 2, thank you very much. And like Table 8, what's going on? Thank you. All right. To my fellow inductees, how awesome is this? I don't live in Pennsylvania anymore. I live in a second-class state called California. I am so excited to be back in a place where the event starts with the Pledge of Allegiance, and we'll get back to that in a minute. Why? Mr. Murray and the board of directors who actually got duped into letting me in here. Thank you. Mr. Murray, I actually thought for the 24 and change years since I graduated from St. Joe's Prep that you didn't like me. Where are you? There we go. Thank you. Thank you very much. To my coaches, a number of whom are here, who from the summer of 1984 when I was 13 years old and I declared brazenly, I'm going to go to the Olympics and win a gold medal. You didn't laugh at me, thank you. And to my family, who in some of the worst and toughest moments, you guys still love me and gave me a reason to keep going. I want to thank you all. So this is pretty cool. Everything that I needed to learn to go off and be part of a crew that won a gold medal for the United States in an event for the first time in 40 years. By the way, the crew that did it before was from Philly. I learned it here. And so I'm going to tell you a quick story, and if I run over my 5 minutes, just give me the yank. with about 30 seconds to go in the Olympics, we were having the race of our lives. And we knew that if nothing bad happened, we were going to win. And I looked at the guy in front of me, and he looked back at me. And normally the guy in front of me, his nostrils are flaring, and he's got saliva on his forehead, and it looks like the world is ending. He looked back at me and was like, yeah, we're going to win. And we crossed that finish line, and the dream of my youth that started here on the Schuylkill River came true. And for the rest of my life, I will never look at it the same way when the American flag goes up and they play the Star-Spangled Banner. And I learned that here. Thank you all.
All right. Way to start it off. Man, this guy and I go back a little bit. You know, I got in the game around 76, and he was with the Phillies a few years before that, but he always saw me running around. He was always running around. His name's Michael DiMuzio. Michael. Perhaps, without a doubt, if anybody's going to ask me, one of the strongest teams in the community of all the teams that we have is the Philadelphia Phillies. Nobody does it better than them, and thank you for being such a great sponsor and for coming out tonight. And my new friend Byrne, where's she at, baby? There you go. All right, from Glen Olden, yeah, my hometown. So anyway, Mike's been employed by the Philadelphia Phillies for 43 years. Started in high school as a member of the junior ground crew, and advancing through the ranks to a position now held as the directors of operations facility from the Phillies and Philadelphia, Mike DiMuzio. All right.
Pete, you don't mind if I raise this about 4 feet? Good news and bad news. Good news is the Phillies are winning 7-0 in the third. Bad news for all those people from the Phillies, we're not needed anymore. My mom and dad, God rest their soul, are looking down. Mom's ecstatic. Dad's saying to the committee, guys, you got the wrong guy. Tommy was the athlete. I believe every kid, when they start out playing athletics, has an aspiration to be in the Hall of Fame. I grew up in a family with 6 boys, all played sports. I'm sorry, Danny was a bowler. I don't know if that counts. But in my case, involving football, I followed Tom. I was 2 younger than him. Tom was an All-American quarterback. My brother Tom right there, University of Delaware. And I thought the genes would run through the family, so naturally I'm going to be a football player. That dream ended on the first day of freshman football in pads. My parents got a phone call from Bob Capone and Bubby DiCamillo who said, as soon as Mike comes to, we'll be bringing him home. I didn't play basketball in high school, but I was fortunate enough to play in the City of Philadelphia Department of Rec League, and we won a city championship undefeated. I was fortunate enough to be MVP of the city in the year that I played, but that dream ended when I went to Villanova and Jack Kraft and his coaching staff said, see you later. But the real nail in the coffin about my Hall dreams came on November 28, 1970. There was an article written by Hal Bodley, now of USA Today fame, who at the time was writing for the Wilmington News Journal, and he was doing a story about the DiMuzio family that revolved around athletics. And in the article, my mom, they asked her to describe all her 6 kids and their prowess in their respective sports. The description my mom gave of me was, quote, Michael is a fun-loving tease who can be heard before he is seen. When mom doesn't believe in your athletic ability, it's time to hang up the sneaks. Fast forward now 40 years plus, and I get to meet a gentleman named Norman Balby. Norman? Norman, along with Vince Caroci, had an idea to write a book about the unknown players in a Major League sports franchise, the game day employees, and their roles in putting on the show. I assume Norman included me in the book because I was the director of stadium operations, who a lot of these people answer to. And I assumed that because I was in the book's still on the bookshelves today. And if you didn't get your copy, Norman's selling them at the table right now. But it's for all these behind-the-scene players that I humbly accept the honor bestowed by this Hall of Fame committee. For every usher, usherette, ticket taker, host, hostess, greeter, security guard, groundskeeper, and every Phillies employee sitting at the table, thanks for recognizing the work that we do in preparing the ballpark and making certain that every fan has an enjoyable time. From the entertainment pregame, Chrissy and Kurt, to ballpark security, Mike, Sal, and Bud, event operations, Eric and Bernie, our human resource person, Kathy, marketing, and the godmother of my daughter, Debbie, and our instant replay guru, Dave Testa. Never get it right, but it's an instant replay nonetheless. Every one of these people play a huge role in putting on a show for their fans and helping me do my job. It's because of Norman and all these Phillies personnel that I stand here now. I would also like to recognize my brothers and thank my brothers and their families for all their support and for their unending competitive reminder of, is that all you got? The harshest critique comes from family, and it's that constant push that always makes you want to do a little better. Tough one. Lastly, my 3 children. Michael, Candace, his wife, Adam and Lindsay, who allowed their dad to miss some of the games or their dance recitals because he had to work. I'm sorry, actually I missed some of the games because I was tossed out from the ref the game before and been told to stay away. And I'm the ref now, believe it or not. But now I say black and white is always right. And last but certainly not least, my wife Debbie. When I found out about this honor tonight, some people asked me to describe the Hall of Fame. 35 years teaching as a school teacher, an elementary school teacher. The last 13 after being diagnosed with multiple sclerosis, and never once asking, why me? Raising 3 great kids and being my greatest supporter. That's Hall of Fame. Thank you.
Once again, Mike DiMuggio. Yeah. Mike, we didn't know it was going to be a roast tonight, you know? That was great. It was fun, you know, we were comparing notes before he came up, you know, and little you know, back at Veterans Stadium, how many people have been to vet, right? But you never been in the bowels. You didn't know it, that the Phillies and the Eagles shared the same shower facilities, bathrooms, sauna, and steam room. I mean, and the stories that were going back and forth back in the day, you wouldn't want to write a book about that one, but it was pretty good time and great memories. And again, thanks, Mike. Phillies organization, nobody does it better than you. You're what Philly's all about, family's all about, and thank you for your sponsorship tonight. And speaking of sponsorships, my buddy down there is my brother-in-law, and that's Bill Paolo, Executive Auto Body. If you have a dent in your car, there's the man to see right there, all right? So that's my man. Yeah. We have a unique bond too that maybe after a couple beers we'll tell you about it, but it's pretty good. It's time now for us to do a little action here with these auction items, I guess we have here. TV, I mean, it's as good as it gets. And I haven't even had a drink. All right, this guy is a man with 3 careers, 35 years as a teacher in Philadelphia. Commissioned officer during World War II and involvement, certainly involvement in boxing. Started the Harrogate Boxing Club in 1972, involved in youth programs at all levels. Ladies and gentlemen, let's put it together and put our hands together for John Gallagher. John.
This is yours. Oh, well done. Take a picture first.
Vince, I just need to make one correction. All three of those careers were going on at the same time. I was not in the Second World War. I may be old, but I'm not that old. All right, I want to thank the Pennsylvania Sports Hall of Fame for this honor, and particularly Dennis Hill, Fran Doherty, and Patrice Cohill for their nominations. I also want to thank the following for being here to help me to celebrate: the Tioga Shamrocks Breakfast Club, the Veteran Boxers Association Ring 1, the Irish Boxing Committee, Charlie Scarillo and the Harrogate Boxing Club, Operating Engineers 542, and my family and friends. I want to dedicate this award to the memory of two young men who cannot be here. 19-year-old Marine Lance Corporal Edward Day was killed in action in Quang Tri Province in August 1968, in an action for which he was awarded the Navy Cross for extraordinary valor. I trained Eddie at the Henley Boys Club before he joined the Marine Corps. 31-year-old Army Corporal Jerry Pellegrini was killed in action in Iraq in August 2004. Jerry, a decorated police officer and soldier, was a member of the Harrogate Boxing Club for more than 10 years, and I was proud to know him. I came to be nominated for this award in large part because of an article written by Paul Greenhalgh in the Wildwood newspaper, in which Paul documented the story of the Harrogate Boxing Club and the Irish boxing teams Harrogate hosts each year. Thank you, Paul. This award got me thinking about the individuals whom I have met and worked with in boxing. I have developed lifelong relationships with many of the kids I trained, managed, or promoted. I have invited some of them to be here tonight. They have each developed their own passion for boxing and have given back to the sport in some way. I am proud of each of you. This award presumes that I might have influenced you in some way, but I didn't invite you and all my friends here tonight because I thought I had touched your lives. Rather, to thank each of you for touching my life.
Yes, he does. For the youth here in Philadelphia. You know, I'm reading this thing, and it's like Hollywood. You can't believe everything you see in a movie. So sorry about the World War II thing. Oh well. We got too many hits to the head, I guess. All right, here we go now. Let's see if I can't get this one right. Philadelphia police officer wrestled and coached at North Catholic. He didn't wrestle at North Catholic for 23 years, but he coached at North Catholic for 23 years and coached at many other levels and started wrestling programs for PAL and the Junior Falcons. Ladies and gentlemen, let's honor with a big round of applause, Bill Hunter.
Thanks, Vince. When I told you section 270, row 9, 10, 11, 12, and 13, we're seated over there. And we got a lot of years there. I'm really fortunate to be here. I really I credit my coaches when I wrestled at North Catholic. When I was a freshman at North, I was 5 foot tall and 98 pounds. And I really credit Father Jack Green, Coach Pat Manzi, and Coach Walt McIlvain for the work they did to me in 4 years. By the time I graduated, I was doing pretty well. After I graduated from North, I really believed that wrestling in Philadelphia could be a lot better, and Philadelphia kids were a lot tougher. So I went to a lot of different youth organizations, and I wanted to say, hey, I want to start wrestling in Philadelphia. And I didn't realize how young I was. I guess my dreams were big. And I got turned down by about 10 different youth organizations, and it was 0-10 before I met the Philadelphia Police Athletic League. And I went to the Philadelphia Police Athletic League. I met 3 people there, Galen Clemens, Dexter Green, and Joe Licciardello. And it's great to see Kenny Lindeman here, because I know Kenny was there then too. And they gave me a chance. And I don't know if they realize how much of a chance that was. It influenced hundreds of kids in Philadelphia and influenced me. And I really appreciate what you guys did for me, Kenny. That was great. I'm real fortunate to have my family here with me tonight. And I couldn't wait to get out with them and hang out with them. I'm one of 7 kids, 5 boys and 2 girls. And if Little Flower had a wrestling team, Christine and Tisha would be here, not me, because they were the toughest of them all. Okay, but you know, through the years, they really supported me, and even though I would have been a pain in the butt when I wrestled and when I coached, they've always been there for me. And I thank Johnny, Tisha, Marty, Christine, Michael, and Joe. Thank you. Okay, thank you very much. After coaching all these years, some people don't realize, I guess anyone here is coaching, Mike was saying earlier, it's a lot on your family. And what happens during the wrestling season from November till March, you're on loan. And your children share you with hundreds of other kids. If you do it for 1 year, I've done it for 33. So my oldest daughter, Katie's 30. So her whole life, all she knows is her dad's a wrestling coach, as is the rest of my kids. So I want to thank Katie, Billy, Marty, Amber, and Taylor. Thank you for sharing. And with the rest of the bunch is my wife, Sherry. During the wrestling season, she becomes a wrestling mom, wrestling fan, wrestling critic, wrestling coach, and it's even funny when I hear her yelling at the refs, because I go, holy shit, she's really figuring the sport out. Okay? So she's getting pretty good at that. But she tolerates me, and she sacrifices too. Thank you, Sherry. Okay. And at last, I want to thank my parents. My father's here tonight, and you know what? Like I said, 7 kids, 3-bedroom house, mom, dad, 2 dogs, grandpa, uncle, all living in the same house. I still don't remember it being crowded. We just had a lot of fun. I think the most amazing thing about my family, there's 7 of us, and we're all born within 11 years. Okay, so we're really close in age. But Dad used to give great advice, and he used to give me, we all sit and listen. Maybe you don't think we listen, but we listened. Okay, like he used, every time he write a tuition check. At one time, we had St. Joe's Prep, Little Flower, North Catholic, and Holy Innocents, 7 kids. And every time he wrote a tuition check, he would say, this is an investment in your future. Okay? So remember that. Thank you for investing in our future, and I speak for all of us. Thank you, Dad. He gave me tons of advice during my life, and one of the pieces of advice he gave me is probably, I remember him telling me, learn how to speak Spanish. You know, that paid off pretty well for me, too. So that opened a lot of doors for me. But that's not the best advice you gave me, Dad. The best advice he gave me is when I was a freshman at North Catholic. At that time, 7 of us were in school. He's writing them checks going, this is an investment in your future. He says to me, enjoy your years in high school. It's the best years of your life. He said, if you're not going to play a sport, get a job. Well, being 5 foot tall and 98 pounds, I was panicking. Because I was not getting a job. Me and John were the lazy ones. We wanted to play sports. Christine, Tisha, and Marty, they were the workers. They went to work. So what I decided to do was, I got to find a sport. And lo and behold, I met Jack Green, Pat Manzi, and Walt McIlvain. They changed my life. And I really appreciate that. Thank you, Dad. And last, I want to thank my mother. My mother was a remarkable woman. When I tell you that we were born within 11 years, the 11 years in her life were 15 to 26. We were everything to her. She was the strongest and smartest woman I've ever met. She taught us how to be humble, but how to be confident, which is probably the best gift she could have gave us. She always taught me the 5 most important words in life, and she taught me when and how to use them. And them words were yes, no, please, and thank you. Thank you, Mom.
Thank you, Bill. At that age, I was 5 feet, 95 pounds. Same coaches. You can't do it, man. Too small. So what do you think about no wrestling in the Olympics, huh? I guess what I'm going to go with
I have
that.
an opinion on that.
Yeah, I bet you do.
I think it's a ploy because someone's going to raise money to fund it.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll have him talk about that later on. Anybody wants a good story, I'm sure he's got a great opinion. All right, we have some more raffle items for whatever, so let me get the tickets. Yeah, man, I know we've had it there back in the past. Remember when Penn was Division I, and of course Villanova, the great program they've had, and Temple football, St. Joe's, of course, they don't have it, and LaSalle tried it for a while, and they got rid of it. And we have the pride now of Temple and the great program that they've got and what's happened with that. And probably one of the cornerstones of the building of that program is the next recipient of our award this evening. And he was a football star at Germantown High School and, of course, at Temple University, a second-round draft pick in the NFL, 11 seasons in the NFL with the Oakland Raiders and the Minnesota Vikings. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Lance Johnstone. Ooh.
Thank you, everybody. I think one of the first things we should do is definitely put this raffle or this ticket, whatever it is, in the Hall of Fame as well, because it has to be one of the first raffles that nobody in there has absolutely had no idea what they're winning. But you're winning something. You're winning something. They got a place to go and everywhere. I love it. I didn't write anything down, but I just wanted to give special, thanks to, Lord Almighty, first and foremost, for, blessing me with so many things, especially my family. I wanted to dedicate this award to my father who passed actually on New Year's Eve. He was definitely the rock of my life and my hero growing up, along with my mother who provided uncompromised support. And whatever I did, no, I can't say whatever I did because something I but for school and sports, who really started to shape my character. My immediate family, my brothers and sisters, my sisters for being the loudest people in every stadium that they went to. And my brother, always supported me and keeping that sibling rivalry together and alive that we all know, especially families with boys. My wife who's here, who supported me for a great part of my career. My cousin Ethel, who made every trip on the road when I was in college. They just pack up the van and go. My kids who I'm trying to kind of be a role model for going forward. I'd like to thank and actually congratulate all the current recipients and former recipients that's here today. It's a great honor to be up here and be part of the names of past, present, and the future for the state of Pennsylvania, because it's such a state with such high tradition in sports. One other thing. The one thing that I just wanted to stand up here and kind of halfway be on the soapbox is one thing that did sadden me in going through this experience is, you know, I played for Germantown High School. Germantown High School is closed now. And it's just still settling in because it's new. But, you know, just as a person who came up through Philadelphia sports in high school, and even you have, you know, Catholic schools that was part of, you know, my growing up that's closed for other reasons, is, you know, just to put a word out there for all of us to do what we can do to kind of reverse the trend, because all these accomplishments a lot of us are receiving now, a lot of it was done during our young years. And it is what shaped us and helped us shape our communities and so on and so forth. So whatever we can be done, what's done is done, but whatever can be done going forward, if there's any way that we can, you know, help really support this next generation that come up before us, you know, just want to put that bug in everybody's ear just to try to do a little bit more than what we're doing now, you know. So thank you, whoever votes for this. I don't know who you are neither, but you can exaggerate and tell me who you are, and I'll buy you a drink, because I'm definitely honored in being up here.
And the pleasure tonight to sit next to this young lady who's saying, "I can't believe I'm the only lady up here on the dais," and how great! Come on, let's give her a round of applause for that right now. Right? Because I guess she would be a pioneerette or something like that. And she's the first woman ever to be inducted into the Big Five Hall of Fame. How cool is that? All right. High school basketball star at Archbishop Bryan High School, and she moved on to become a LaSalle Explorer, graduating in 1981, and she owns all of LaSalle's scoring records, and what a great job LaSalle did this year in the NCAA. We're all real proud of them. But we're more proud right now of Maureen Mo Kramer. So ladies and gentlemen, please, here you go, Mo, it's all yours, baby.
I would like to thank the nominating committee of the Pennsylvania Sports Hall of Fame for selecting me for this honor. I would also like to congratulate all the other inductees. It is truly a tremendous honor to be standing here in the company of these wonderful people. Basketball is a team sport, and because it is a team sport, I was surrounded by many great players and coaches that made me the player I was at LaSalle. I would also be remiss if I didn't thank the many fans that attended our games. A very special thank you to my family for their encouragement and huge support throughout the years, and particularly my parents who provided so much toward making me the person I am. In closing, it is only fitting that I thank the Lord for the many blessings He has given me, especially in my athletic ability. Thank you.
Oh, come on. Didn't she do a great job? Yeah. All right, our next guest and the next honoree. Oh, there you go. Okay, cool. Right there? Okay. And I think the silent auction is still going on for the Maxwell footballs and also the Mike Vick autographed jerseys and anything else that may be back there. So our next honoree, we're sort of talking because he's traveled all over the world doing clinics with some of the most famous basketball players in the world. And I asked him, I said, "Where's the wildest place you've ever been to do a clinic?" And he said, "In a bull ring in Mexico." Right? I mean, can you imagine playing basketball in a bull ring in Mexico? And I think it trumps what we did. We played a football game in a bull ring in Mexico, believe it or not. You remember that, Milt? You were there? Yeah, we were down there we're going to play the New Orleans Saints in 76, 77. We were supposed to play in the Olympic Stadium, and they had a Wildcat strike. Next thing you know, we were playing on sod in a bull ring in Mexico City, which was pretty wild. And then we came back, and they wouldn't accept Mr. Toast's credit card. Can't imagine why. And, and we had no gas, right? We had no gas, you know? So somehow we got home. It was pretty wild. But I bet this guy has some great stories to tell us. And I'd like to introduce you introduce him to you. And basketball player John Bartram High School, South Carolina State, and the Dallas Chaparrals of remember the ABA? The ABA, Dallas Chaparrals. We'll forgive you that you played for Dallas. That's okay. And now, as I said, he travels around the world, and he does clinics with the likes of people of Rebecca Lobo, Magic Johnson, Michael Jordan, Joya Serving, and many, many more that I'm sure he'll mention. And don't forget that big game they had in Mexico City. Ladies and gentlemen, a big round of applause for Bobby Lewis.
Thank you very much. Sorry for those bad tickets I handed out before. But first of all, I'd like to thank the honorees here. It's a pleasure being honored with you. Thanks a lot for the Pennsylvania Sports Hall of Fame. I'd like to just start off with talking about not myself, but my team. And to have a great team, we have to have people behind you who made me successful. And Philadelphia has one of the greatest sports communities there is in teaching kids how to do sports, basketball, football, or what have you. And it's a very big fraternity. And I want to thank some of the guys like Clarence Brookins, Stand Up Temple University, Bartram High School, my teammate at Bartram, and his wife Jackie. And we also have Ducky Burtz was my first pro coach in the Baker League, and he's also Bob Brady's aide, Congressman Brady. Okay. And also Harold Molina, Stand Up Hal. Harold was my teammate in the Wild Big Five. I was a junior, he was a senior. He's my confidant. Big Jake was with our summer league team. We had a good summer league team in high school. We had Earl Monroe, myself, Jake. We beat everybody. And also, where's Dave Riddick? Where's Dave Riddick? Dave Riddick here? Dave Riddick showed me toughness. Maryland State all-timer and what have you. But a lot of people helped to get this whole situation, get me started in basketball. And one of the greatest, and I like to say, Jay Norman. Jay Norman, stand up, Jay. Temple University. Okay. And Jay's great famous teammates of Hal Lair, Guy Rogers. Guy Rogers, that was my mentor. Guy Rogers used to come by my house, get me, because I was the only one foolish enough to run with him all day. And I was a young kid wanting to learn how to play, and Guy Rogers was the best ever in teaching ball handling. But then that led on to, in this clinician work I've been doing, and what people say, what does a clinician do? A clinician is what you do, you go around, do clinics for the big stars. If Michael Jordan is on the beach in the Bahamas somewhere and can't make it, and he's not going to be there, Bobby Lewis has to get on the plane, get there, take his place, and they owe me a lot of favors. So we had a lot of fun. I was with the Dream Team in Barcelona and what have you in '92 with my family and what have you. So it gave me a lot of opportunities, and I really appreciate it. And I hope I represented Philly, Pennsylvania well, and I look forward to doing that in the future. Thank you very much.
Once again, big round of applause for Bobby Lewis, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you. Switch over to football for a record-setting football player and star at Father Judge High School and also Hofstra University. And you can read the complete bio for this young man and everybody here, of course, in our program. Currently a well-respected Division I football referee in the ACC, and hey, he'll be getting Syracuse next year. And my daughter cheers for Syracuse, so don't flag her, okay, please? And ladies and gentlemen, a big round of applause for one of the greatest football players ever out of Philadelphia, Father Judge High School, Joey Magallanes.
Thank you, Vince, and good evening, everyone. Again, I'd like to say congratulations to all the recipients this evening. It really is a special award. I've been to this banquet over the years a few times, watching friends and colleagues receive it. Never dreamt that I would be even thought of or considered to receive it, and here I am standing here. It really is something special. So my playing days as a young boy started in the neighborhoods right around here. I played for Holmesburg Boys Club. As I got a little bit older, I had the chance to play 2 years with the Philadelphia Little Quakers, which was a great opportunity. Bob Rosani, a recipient this evening, was a friend of mine for one of those years. It was a very nice experience for the young men who get to play that. Jake, a friend of mine's son, played as well. As I got into high school, I played at Father Judge. I was very fortunate, had a lot of awards and recognitions. Played under Whitey Sullivan there. Had the opportunity to play in 2 Catholic League championships. My sophomore year, we lost to Cardinal O'Hara. Well, my senior year, we got back and played O'Hara again, and we were fortunate to win the Catholic championship that year. I remember at Judge, we played right down the street Saturday nights, not Friday, and right here at Northeast High School. And I remember sitting around Saturday afternoon before I had to go up to Judge and get ready for our games, and I would watch college football for a little bit. And I remember watching all the names back then: Tony Dorsett, Earl Campbell, Archie Griffin. They were running backs. I was a running back, so naturally they're the guys who watch in your position. And I remember saying to myself, there's going to be a day where I'm going to be able to showcase what I can do on those fields on TV. It wasn't a question of if, it was a question of when. But what I didn't realize, well, I wasn't going to be a player. I had to put on a striped shirt to do it. So all your dreams ran me right down the tubes as a boy. But officiating's been a huge part of my life the last 25 years. My wife, she'll tell you, and it's very rewarding. It's great. My career in officiating started the same way as my playing days did, at Sandlot Ball and NESAC, and eventually into high school and into college. And currently I'm entering my 9th year in the Atlantic Coast Conference, better known as the ACC. It's a very exciting time for us. As Vince mentioned, Syracuse and Pitt are coming into the league next year. And also with Notre Dame has joined the ACC with everything except football. But what that means for us is they're going to be using ACC football officials for their games. So it's very exciting time for us. So far in my career, I guess if I had to sum it all up with one game, I would say 2 years ago in 2011, I was selected to officiate the ACC Conference Championship. And it was played between Virginia Tech and Clemson. And as players and teams want to get to the championship in their league, so do officials. It's just kind of a reward and a recognition that you're up there and recognized amongst your peers. There's quite a few thank yous I'd like to say this evening to all the teammates I had at Judge, and especially the Little Quakers, and all the teammates I had growing up. Also the coaches I had, Whitey Sullivan and Bob Levy at Little Quakers when I was out there. In officiating, I got my start under Jim McGonigal here, a very good friend of mine. Worked for him for high school and some college ball. Milt Holstead was also a member of the board, worked for him for Division II and III college as well. Also a member of the board I need to thank is Frank Cosman. Frank's a very good friend of mine, but also Frank's a replay official in the ACC. But what that means is on Sunday he's grading the film, he's watching me, giving me a grade, so I got very nice to Frank there, so thank you, Frank. I'd like to thank my friends for being here this evening, supporting me, guys I grew up with my entire life. I guess mainly I want to thank them for behaving. These are guys I grew up with. I know the way they can act. Also, my family back here this evening supported me. My brother Bud, his wife Bee, thanks for being here. My sister Joanne, Ed, always supported me in my entire football career. My brother Tom, my sister-in-law Kathy, my godson Tommy, his girlfriend Rachel, my nephew Anthony. He's an assistant basketball coach at Ryan, but that's okay. Then my father-in-law, my father-in-law Lou and Cheryl Lou, Vince Pally back here. My father-in-law's a huge Eagles fan. I know he's not looking at me, he's looking at Vince back here. But thank you, Lou and Cheryl, for being here. My oldest daughter Stephanie can't be here this evening. She's in California. My middle daughter Olivia just celebrated her 16th Sweet 16 party Saturday night. She's the one sitting back there texting and everything, not paying attention to her dad. My son RJ's in 8th grade, very good soccer player, very exciting to watch, got a bright future in front of him. If he hits the books, like we all know and say, but you know that's where it stands for him. And then finally, certainly last and not least, I always think behind every good official is a great wife. and that is true with my wife, Jennifer. She's been with me every step of the way in my officiating career, and she is the main reason. I have the easy part. I fly out Friday mornings, come back Sunday. She's home. She works a full-time job. She's home on the weekends, carting the kids around to wherever they got to go, and I just walk in Sunday. Hey, how was your weekend? She's got that stare at me. Facing coaches is easy compared to what she has. And hon, if you could stand up, you're not going to get off that easy. Come on. Look how beautiful she looks in that dress. Stand up for me. There she is, my wife. Thank you very much, Jen. Love you. Again, I'd like to thank the board for this award. It means a lot. And enjoy your night, everybody. Thank you.
Big round of applause one more time for Jerry. Because Jerry was talking about his wife, and somebody I'm really proud of in my life is my wife Janet, who also did have that honor of receiving this award. And one of the reasons why is because she was the youngest head coach ever in Division I sports at the age of 21, and it started right at the University of Pennsylvania, where she was a gymnastics coach, and she was also Kathy Rigby's teammate. And the person I'm going to introduce next is also a coach there and at the University of Pennsylvania. And where am I going here? Okay, Mike McLaughlin and Father Judge. We got another Father Judge, Holy Family graduate. Went on to coach women's basketball at Holy Family, and now at the University of Pennsylvania. Just a great tradition. The fastest coach, here we go, the fastest coach in NCAA history to reach 400 wins is our next honoree, and that's Mike McLaughlin. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mike up to the podium.
Okay, my bad, we're in the wrong order. I was trying to go down the line. 1, 2, 3. Okay.
Good evening, everyone. If anyone was expecting Frank, he'll be up next. He kind of skipped him. I also am humbled and honored to be here tonight. I'd like to thank everyone who had a part to not only think about putting me in here, but actually doing it. And I'm humbled and grateful for that. I also like to thank all the recipients as well for all their accomplishments. Coming tonight, I only knew Jerry from our past in high school, and now I got to meet some new friends and some great stories, and I appreciate that greatly. The one thing I also want to do is segue into the constant. I think we all thanked our support staff and our people and our families and our coaches, and everyone at least has a large part of our success, and I should say my success. And so I'd like to start there. I'd like to acknowledge my parents that are in the back. Where are you guys back there? Great support. Continues to be support. My father, who some of you may know, he has a history of basketball and involvement in the Philadelphia area. Even now at Penn, he has made every game since I've been at Penn. I think he might have missed a game or two just for his travel schedule, but it's pretty unique that a long time ago someone would do that and continue to do it. So I'm grateful for that, Dad. And my mom's back there, who's also extremely supportive. I do have to, and I want to get the thanks out of the way, because if I do forget, as you know, we'll be in trouble when I get home. I'd like to really acknowledge my wife for all her support. She's been with me as a former player and now as a coach. As everyone has mentioned, particularly Jerry, we're away. I travel a lot. Very difficult travel schedule and very demanding schedule throughout the course of the year, and it's really difficult to kind of do both sides. So she's been extremely supportive, and I thank her for that. My two daughters are here, Courtney and Kelsey. They're in the back as well. I thank them. They've been a part of watching the success that the programs that I've coached had, and they've been a big part of that. My son, who's not here tonight, he's at a baseball game. I also thank for a bunch of friends that are here tonight, some that came to support me, and I appreciate you guys. Some that I reconnected with that I haven't seen in a little while, and it was great to do that. So it's great to see everyone, and I'm appreciative of you guys taking the time and the effort to come out here tonight. I also like to thank Coach Williams, who was my college coach when I was at Holy Family. Really special man. He's not here tonight, unfortunately. He just had a little illness and just got out of the hospital. He'll be fine. I want to thank him for just giving me the opportunity a long time ago to be able to come and be a player at Holy Family, and I really think that spearheaded my future. From there, I also thank Red Klotz, who was the owner of the Washington Generals and the Globetrotters that I toured with for 3 years and was given a tremendous opportunity that I can only dream of getting one day. And he gave me that opportunity, and I'm indebted for that opportunity. And he gave me an opportunity to travel around the world for 3 years as a 23, 24, 25-year-old that I wish that many people would have that same experience. And I believe them experiences led me to have some success in the coaching field, to learn as I went along, to surround myself with good people, and that has led me to now the University of Pennsylvania, which I'm completely honored to be there every day. So a lot of people have been part of my success. I'm humbled again, I'm grateful, and for everyone up here tonight, again, I thank you for meeting you, I should say, and you know, I hope you have a great night. I do, and thanks everyone for having me.
All right, thanks, Mike. Very eyeball. So, you know, that's what's happening in our house sometimes. We have a man that we would like to honor who is deceased, and his son Charlie will be here is here to receive the award, and it's Officer Joe McCluskey, and he's a local boxing legend here, and he boxed at local boxing clubs as a middleweight, became a police athletic league leader in 1947, and he coached many sports until his retirement in 1984. So ladies and gentlemen, please, if you would, Charlie is coming up to accept the award for his father, Officer Joe McCluskey.
Thank you, Vince. This is indeed a great honor. I just wish my dad were here to accept the award himself. He's been going a number of years. My dad started with PAL in 1947. For the next 37 years, he worked about 16 hours a day, 7 days a week, building the organization into the great organization that it is today. Many thousands of youngsters passed through that organization. One of them is here tonight. He was quite a basketball player in his own right. He went on to become a commanding officer of PAL, Lieutenant Ken Linneman. And it's really gratifying to know that after all these years, my dad is still remembered and recognized for the work he did with sports, youth in Philadelphia for 4 decades, and from our family and from the members of the organization that bears his name, many of whom are here tonight, I would just like to thank you very, very much. Thank you.
Oh, by the way, you'll be happy to know that there's going to be no more drawings for that gift to be named later, okay? But the silent auction is closing very shortly now, so if you want to make one last bid or go protect your bid, please do so at this time. Our next honoree played football at St. Joe's Prep and Temple University, and after his playing days ended, Frank became a longtime assistant at Archbishop Bryan High School and currently assists at George Washington High School. How's my buddy Coach Cohen doing over there? And anywhere Frank has coached, championships have followed. So ladies and gentlemen, please, a big round of applause for Frank McFillan.
Let me get my glasses on. I just want to thank the Hall of Fame, the members here. My congratulations to the recipients. It's what an honor it is. You know, it's unbelievable that, you know, you stand up here and you say, I shouldn't even be up here because I love what I do and I'm getting honored for it. It's ridiculous, but that's the way it goes, I guess. But I also want to say a little football joke to start out. I know at home I'm always telling jokes around the house. I never tell jokes. But anyways, it's a football joke, so you'll enjoy it. It's Super Bowl. Everybody loves Super Bowls, right? Yeah, we all love Super Bowl. So it's a Super Bowl game between the animals. All right, it's the big animals versus the little animals. And John Quinn, if you know the punchline, be quiet, right? Because he's always telling jokes. So the big animals are crushing the little animals. They're killing them. So at halftime, the coach gives this impassioned halftime talk, like a Coach McEnany kind of guy, you know? You know, come on, guys, you got to do better. So hold the line. So the second half starts, and the elephant gets the ball the first time, and there's no gain. Second play, second down. The hippo gets the ball, no gain. So what the heck? Third play, the rhino gets the ball, and there's a 5-yard loss. So the coach calls timeout, comes run down and says, who's making all these plays? Who made the first play? So the centerpiece said, I did. Well, who made the second play? The centerpiece said, I did too. He said, who made the third play? I did also, coach. Well, the coach demanded and said, where the hell were you during the first half? I was getting my ankles taped. So for all you guys who know what centipedes are, they got a lot of legs. Like about 100 of them. Just in case some guys don't know. Anyway, you know, I've had the opportunity to coach for 35 years. I've coached with some great coaches. I've coached with John Quinn, who hired me out of Temple. We had some great years there. I coached with John Whitey Sullivan for a couple of years. I was able to coach Mags for about 1 year until I went back to Ryan. I coached with Steph Cruck, Glenn Gallione. Now I'm coaching with Ryan Cohen. Now these guys are just the head coaches. The assistant coaches I coached with was Frank McGardle, Rick Ifey, Billy Edger, Warren Southern, Sudsy we call him, John Fenningham, Billy Cook, Billy Sabo, Lee Marvel, Paul Nice, and my current guys in Washington, John McEnany, Ken Geiser, Skip Singletary. I coached with two of my sons, Joe and Rich. So with those kind of guys teaching you how to coach football, you know, no wonder I'm up here. You know, I was just fortunate to have some great coaches and some great players. You know, during those 35 years, I learned a little something. I learned to keep things simple in life. You know, nowadays, got all these formations. Back when I was coaching at Ryan, John Quinn ran the split backfield. And I would tell him, why don't we go to an I? Nah, you guys can't get that. I go to his father Judge, he ran an I. I said, why do you run like a split like that? Nah, we got to stay with the one thing. And those guys were very simple-minded. They were simple coaches, and they did the things to perfection. And that's the way they were. And Coach McEnany was the same way. He ran the wing tee. You run the wing tee, and you run it this way, you run it 1,000 times, you'll win. And they won big. But also, you know, during my coaching, I had the opportunity, I'm raising a big family. Luckily, I was able to have 12 children. Our first one died prematurely, but we went on to have 11 more children. You know, raising a big family, you always get all these kind of remarks. So I know you have, TV and all this other stuff. I say, yeah, that's for afterwards. You know? But, you know, we kept things simple in a big family. My wife, Ann, we raised 11 kids. I should say she raised 11 kids. I was coaching, doing police work, and selling real estate. So I didn't have time to raise the kids. You know? But, you know, raising 11 kids, you keep things basic and simple. No vacations. Now, you go to summer, spring swim club, that's your vacation. Enjoy it. You know? Get up early, you go to summer, spring, but you got to go to a swim team, too. You be there by 7 o'clock and swim for 2 hours, and then go to work afterwards. That's the way our family was raised, by keeping things simple. Every man has some success in life. I've had a lot, believe me. I've been able to coach all these years. I've had a great family, my great wife Ann, to pick up the slack. Because without somebody picking up the slack, you can't be able to do what we're doing. I was fortunate that she loved what she did. She loved raising a family. She gave up her career as a nurse. She still works one day here and there, but she's mostly with the kids. You know, and it's funny, family is the essence of society, I think. Without family, you really got nothing. You know, it's a rare individual who succeeds without the right person behind them. And I was very fortunate to have that woman, an unselfish woman, the whole life. Ann, can you stand up, take a little bow for me, please? Stand up. I know, listen. Stand up. She's just mad because it's past her bedtime, that's all. Because she never sits down. She's always up at 5, goes to bed at 9, and she conks right out. But that's the way it is. I want to thank my kids, too. My kids, I got great kids. Matt, married to Maureen. Margaret, married to John. Joe, married to Amy. Deirdre couldn't make it. My daughter Deirdre, she's married to Tim, who happens to be a father judge baseball coach. Yeah, I know. What can you do? My daughter Catherine's here. She's married to Chris. Of course, Richard, John, Colin, William, Hillary, Maria. They're all here. I just want to tell you thanks to the kids. Thanks for your patience and understanding. I know I couldn't make all your games and all your practices and everything, but we made some of them. And the swim meets, you can forget about them. I hated them. But I want to thank everybody. Thanks for the honor. I tell you, I'm really humbled by being up here. Thank you very much.
All right, Frank. How about a round of applause for Frank? Are you kidding me, Centipede taping his ankles? I mean, seriously. You know, that was so stupid, it was funny, wasn't it? It was really good. It was funny, you're listening back here because you're all facing me, you know, and you could just see, it started in the front. It was almost like a wave. I mean, it just, all of a sudden it hit. That was great. That was a great joke. Well, you know, there's a common thread here, and it's family, isn't it? I mean, that's all you hear about, whether it's a family. Our dream was crushed the other night against Michigan, but I'm not going to say anything about the officiating. But anyway, that's... And I have a son, you know, and he's a half decent football player, and he a couple of 2 years ago we got a call from a buddy who was actually involved in the movie. He says, you know, they're having tryouts for the Little Quakers, and I said, you're kidding. And so when we live in Cherry Hill, New Jersey, and so every night right after he's getting done his practice at Bishop Eustace where he goes to school, in Cherry Hill, Pennsauken, we ran him out to the tryouts for the Little Quakers at Penn Charter. And he made it. And I'll tell you, it was one of the coolest experiences for me as a dad, and without a doubt, one of the greatest experiences for him. Is that Ron Cohen down there? God, how you doing, Coach? And so Coach knows Vinny, and he was there. And I got to meet this next man, a great guy that I'm going to introduce to you because of not only what he's done in the past in athletics, but also what he's doing for the youth today and giving these kids an opportunity from all over to go and travel around the country and play the great game of football. And this is Bob Rosania. Okay, so here for Bob. Oh my God. I'm not going to say they call those fat heads, but and you know what a surprise that he played football and lacrosse at Penn Charter. Played football at the University of Pennsylvania, and he's now the president of the nationally known and great football program called the Philadelphia Little Quakers football program. Bob Levy, back in the day with his top hat and the whole thing, and that great allegiance with the University of Pennsylvania. It gives me great honor to introduce to you Bob. So Bob, please come up. I'm here, it is.
So there's a rhino and a centipede. How do you top that? I just want to thank the city chapter of the Pennsylvania Hall of Fame and the fellow inductees. Some of them that I've met previously. Jerry Magalinas was a teammate of mine on the Philadelphia Little Quakers. Jerry was a running back and I was the quarterback, so it was pretty easy. It was pitch the ball to Jerry right, pitch the ball to Jerry left, screen pass to Jerry, repeat until you're in the end zone, and then dance. He was quite a player, and now I understand he passed over to the dark side of became an official. My cousin is married to an official, John Schleier, who was an inductee in 2000 here into the Pennsylvania Hall of Fame. I'm over here, John. And despite the popular opinion of many of the coaches that I had over the years, I have seen John chew gum and walk at the same time. So, also Mike DeMuzio was one of my first customers of my company. We used to make the baseball field covers for the Phillies, and Mike generously purchased those. He now purchases those covers from someone else. But by the way, Mike, there's an open invoice. If you could pass that down to Mike. If you don't mind, I take credit cards. But look, I want to thank the many organizations that made it possible for me to be up here. It started with Crispin Gardens right here locally with many of the coaches, the volunteer coaches, Mr. Malley and the McArdle family who taught me over the years how to get up after you get knocked down, and I certainly got knocked down many times. And when, like Jerry, I had the pleasure of playing with the Philadelphia Little Quakers. You know, once a Little Quaker, always a Little Quaker. And what an experience with Mr. Bob Levy, who gave me an opportunity to travel, play against some of the best teams in the nation. And he kept that program alive for 54 years. And now I have the pleasure, along with many of the folks that are here tonight, to run that organization that has given scholarships, over $3 million worth of scholarships to kids over the years to pursue their dreams and find a pathway forward through football and academics. I can't thank them enough. And through that experience, and the generosity of others, especially Mr. Levy, gave me a scholarship to Penn Charter, where I had a chance to play football and was introduced to the game of lacrosse. What a great experience for a city kid to be given a stick and then run out to those kids that outperformed you in class all day, to run out and hit them with a stick. How cool was that? And what was really neat, when I played, the lacrosse sticks were these lightweight aluminum sticks. Well, my parents, God bless them, they had 2 kids in college, and me at Penn Charter, I couldn't afford a fancy lacrosse stick. So my coach at the time, Joe Perrott, gave me his old-time stick, and it was actually a conduit pipe painted white. So I had a chance to run around and whack people with a conduit pipe, you know, and needless to say, about 3 days after the first start of this lacrosse, a lacrosse stick, an aluminum lacrosse stick, showed up at my locker, and I put the conduit away. But Penn Charter, what a great institution. There's a table here of folks that are supporting me, and thank you. It gave me a first-rate education and showed me what the value of education was. And I'm honored to serve on the Board of Overseers at Penn Charter today. What a fine institution. And the coaches that I had at Penn Charter, Ed Zubrell, Bill Gallagher, you know, taught me what it took to be disciplined, to accomplish your goals, and also have fun at what you're doing. And from that, I had a chance to go to the University of Pennsylvania to play for Jerry Byrne and Coach Dan, Do Better in Your Best, to Fury. And what an amazing opportunity, because right at that time, Penn turned the program around. Many of my teammates are here. They're the ones at the table, not in the beautiful dresses. You don't know how many times that statement came back to haunt me, but they're here supporting me. Fantastic gentlemen. You know, friendship, right? Friendship is what it's all about. A good friend, right? I think about this. A good friend is the kind of guy that will bail you out of jail when you're there. A great friend is that person in the next cell over saying, "Dan, we had a lot of fun." So I'm just thankful. I'm just thankful for those friendships. I'm truly a reflection of those folks. It's tremendous the journeys that they've picked. You know, they're coaches, they're mentors, they're owners of business, they're leaders in their organizations, and I'm just a reflection of those friends, and I appreciate them being here. And I would be remiss if I didn't thank my family.
Family! Yeah! Sisters!
You can pick your friends, but you're stuck with your family.
Oh, gosh.
All right, you're up here next. Well, before I get to the badminton stuff, I want to thank, obviously, I have 3 young boys, Dan, Dave, and Drew, and they teach me and challenge me every day. They're great boys. You know, the wins and losses, they fade, but at the end of the day, when you hear father, coach, mentor, they're the important things, right? The all-league, the all-city, the all-state stuff is swell, but nowadays what I cherish is when my boys turn to me and say, "Coach." That's a fantastic thing. I want to thank my siblings, my older brother David, who was my role model growing up. Also, he helped me learn how to catch the ball, because as he threw it at my face, if I didn't catch it, I wouldn't be as handsome as I am now. So you knew I missed a couple of those catches. My older sister Diane, who helped me learn to run really fast. She always wanted a twin sister, so she kind of dressed me up in different outfits. So I used to have to outrun the neighborhood kids. So thank you, Diane. My younger sister Jeannie, who happens to be I was going to say something really sweet. My younger sister Jeannie, who happens to be maybe one of the most beautiful people I know inside and out, and very talented. And of course, my mother and father. Unfortunately, my father passed away a number of years ago, but he certainly taught me that with a good education and a lot of hard work, anything is possible. So, Dad, I'm doing all right. My mom, with her endless spirit and the work ethic that she taught. Thank you, Mom. And I truly appreciate the sacrifices that she's made over the years to make sure all our kids can pursue her dreams. Thank you, Mom. And last but not least, obviously, my wife of 23 years, Laurie. Who I'm certainly reminded that I outkicked my coverage on that one. Folks ask me, what is the secret of your 23 years of marital success? And I tell them 2 times a week we go to a very romantic restaurant with candlelight and soft music and dancing. She goes on Tuesdays, I go on Fridays. Bobby, was that bad?
Oh boy.
sorry.
Oh boy, I got to pay for that. But without her loans and support, I am half the person that I would be. How's that, Bobby?
Very nice.
All right?
There you go.
And to wrap up, I know I stand between you and your sofa and a big bowl of ice cream, watching Dancing with the Stars here. So I'll finish up quickly here. The one thing that I remember that sports had taught me at a very young age, I was 12 years old and playing in one of those double elimination basketball tournaments at Holmesburg Boys Club, where you're there all day. And the first game, they come out. It's a close game against Holmesburg. It's tied. It's in the waning seconds. I'm breaking free on an inbounds pass from the sidelines. I catch the ball, turn around in the corner, spot up just like the coach tells me to do. I'm looking at the basket, shoot the 18-footer, nothing but net, but I shot it in the wrong basket. And that's a true story. But you know what? My coach at the time, my volunteer coach at the time, comes to me and says, number one, don't ever do that again. But number two, guess what? In about 2 hours, we toss the ball up and go at it again. And that stuck with me, because through every day now, in my business life, whatever, if we have failures, guess what? We toss the ball up and we get it to do it again. So sports plays a very critical role. Okay, and before I sign off, Mike has asked me to reach out to, because he failed to do it, he asked me to reach out to Kelly. You're the biggest fan. Where's Kelly? Kelly, can you stand up?
Stand up, Kelly.
Kelly, we love you, Kelly. Me and Mike. And where's Tom? Tom, you here? All right, Tom. All right, so yeah, on behalf of the McLaughlin family, thank you, Kelly and Tom. Thank you very much.
Oh, man. Good stuff. Thanks, Bob. Oh, baby. Good recovery with your wife, too. Yeah. I know about that kick in the coverage stuff. Yeah, I've fallen down a lot of punts in my day. Oh, baby, that pretty much sums it up here for tonight. Just one thing. Quick thing with that little Quakers thing. When Vinny had made the team, he was really excited because he came home and he said, Dad, guess what number I got? And I said, what's that? He said, I got 83. I said, oh my God, and I started crying. And he said, Dad, what are you crying for? He said, it's Wes Welker, So, true. I mean, you can't make that stuff up. It really happened. Yeah. So there I am, like a blubbering idiot, So, and then one other thing you said, and this is what it's all about. It's all about the scholarship. And you had one word in there that really stuck with me, and it's a word that resonates with me because of one of the greatest coaches I ever played for, and that was Dick Vermeil. It was called opportunity. And he always talked about opportunity and potential, and that's why we're here. And we're not here only to honor the great athletes that we have here at our dais, and also those and their families, everybody involved with the sport. We're out here to honor these kids and those words potential, that they have, and the scholarships that's going to enable them to fulfill that potential. And Coach Vermeil always said potential is the biggest waste there is out there. He also said it was a coach killer, so think about that one. But then Lombardi says, somebody said, what's potential? And he said, it's something you ain't done yet, and think about that. And now here we are with these scholarships through the potential to help them. And then there's that other word you brought up, and it was opportunity. And there was this great saying in our locker room that went like this, and I'd like to close with this. Now we'll have our invocation. We'll also announce the award winners for the auction items back there. And this thing about opportunity went like this. And I spoke to a couple of assemblies today, and I said, this is what it is. An opportunity is worth to a person exactly what their preparation enables them to make it. An opportunity is worth to you exactly what you put into it. And thank you for giving these kids this opportunity to take it to the next level and fulfilling their potential. So a round of applause to all of you for the great things that you do. So thank you. Now, all right, we have the Vic autograph football. The Vic autograph football goes to maybe one of the biggest.